I want to present to you a study method that I believe is going to allow you to have a different narrative about how you learn so that you can make a success of your life here at the college. I'm going to be presenting Study Smarter Effective Learning Methods for TVET Engineering students. The first question is why? So that you can understand your reason and your purpose for being where you are. The facts are that talent won't get you far. That's the honest truth. Talent does not get you far. It's the habits that you learn, the mindset that you grow, and how you study that will really determine whether or not you survive, whether you thrive, or whether you will succeed. Just keep this question mark in your mind. Why? And when you try and frame that question, think about your reason and your purpose. The next thing that I want to draw your attention to as we begin to unpack this idea is thinking what. We've asked why. Now the question is what. When we ask what, we're asking where are we going to focus our time? Okay? Where are we going to focus our time? Mechanical engineering is all about building things that move, that work, and that make life easier. Like engines, like machines and tools, and even robots. It is where the maths, the science, the creativity all comes together to solve real world problems. So the idea here is to learn how to study smart so that we can save time and improve our results. Now the question is how? First of all, understand your own personal learning style. Next, we're going to talk about how do you create a study schedule, and then we're going to speak a little bit about how do we actually employ study techniques that's going to assist us, and then lastly we're going to look at how do you manage your environment. So it's important to understand your learning style. There are 3 different learning approaches. The first one that we're going to talk about is visual learning. Okay. If you look at the diagrams on the monitor, you see where this is leading to. Visual. Looking at something and learning by looking at it. Individuals understand and remember information better when it is presented in a visual format. Visual learners grasp concepts more easily through images, diagrams, charts, videos, color coding, and spatial organization. The key features of a visual learner, or if you have questions around whether you are a visual learner, maybe you're thinking that is who you are, then you prefer to see what you're learning rather than to hear it or to read it. So to see something, you are absorbing the content and you are actually storing it in a way. Okay, so that is a visual learner. So the way that you unpack your learning is by doing mind maps, flowcharts, infographics, watching videos and animations, using color-coded notes and flashcards. On the monitor here you can see some examples of it. On the top we have a mind map, then we have a flowchart, we have an infographic, and we have some color-coded notes. So that we call a visual learning style. The next one is auditory learning style. In this kind of learning style, a person learns best by hearing and listening. Auditory learners retain information more effectively when it's delivered through sound, such as spoken word, music, and verbal instructions. The key traits of an auditory learner: They prefer listening to explanations rather than reading or watching. And this is how they remember. They remember by hearing better than what they see. So they remember by hearing. They enjoy discussions, they enjoy lectures and podcasts, and they often read aloud and talk through problems to stimulate their learning process. The last one I want to look at is called a kinesthetic learning style. In this style, it's more like a hands-on learning approach. This is where individuals learn best by doing, by putting into practice what they have learned. These learners understand and remember information more effectively when they move, touch, build, or engage in real-world experiences. The key traits are that the learner learns through movement and through touch. If you compare that to what we've already seen, visual learning, auditory learning, now we're talking about basically learning through touch and seeing movement. Kinesthetic learner learns by remembering what they do, not just what they see or what they hear. Okay, so we have auditory, visual, and kinesthetic. So it's important for you to try and unpack for yourself personally, in your experience as being a student, where have you really found joy in learning? And it's key to ask that question. Where did you find joy? Did you have the most fun when your eyes were closed and you were listening to what the lecturer was speaking? Did you have the most fun where you were touching the project when you saw it moving? Did you have the most fun when you were looking at someone doing the work and then just sitting and looking what they're doing? So when you answer that question, you can now begin to build a learning experience that is catered to the way that you will be able to retain information. Okay? So it's visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Now, our next step is in being able to learn and make this experience an effective experience. We must know how to place our study time. So in that way, we have to create a schedule. You must know where you are actually going to find the most time. If I look at my own personal life and my lifestyle right now, my best time for learning is when I'm by myself and it's quiet around me. So I learn when my family is asleep, when there's no noises in the neighborhood, when my dog is not barking, when everything is quiet, when the TV is off, then I can sit down and I can focus. You have to take control and set aside time that is going to be efficient for you. You can't say you are going to wake up early at 2 o'clock and then go and learn when you go sleep at 11 o'clock in the evening and come to your study time with 2 hours of rest. Or you want to start learning when you haven't had a meal. So you must think about those things and you must set time aside to do this effectively. Is to realize that studying doesn't actually just take place when you're sitting and learning by yourself. Your studying also takes place in the classroom. So what are you actually doing in the classroom? Know that reviewing and practicing is very important. Studying is not just a one-time experience where you collect all your resources, put it down and you sit with it. Studying is where you find the time to engage with the content. It's in the classroom. It's when you're listening to whatever you're listening on your way to wherever. It's when you're seated by your desk on the study table that you use at home and you are sitting with your homework. Those are actual learning experiences. So when you engage with it, Engage with it in a manner that you're not just going to do it and forget it, that you're going to do it and learn it. So when you're creating a study schedule, you must know your priorities. You must know the best time that is adequate for you, that is efficient for you. You must set time aside. You must realize that active learning is the best kind of learning. And you must review and adjust your schedule regularly. Some of the advantages of having a study schedule in place: it will reduce your stress, it will improve your focus, it will build a strong habit for yourself. You will also be able to boost your performance, and it will free up your time. Ultimately, what we want is it's going to boost your performance. We talked a little bit about active study. It's about self-testing. It's about creating your own study materials when you take notes. It's about reviewing whether you have learned or not. It's about practicing the problems that you've encountered, the challenges that you were given in the classroom, and checking whether you are applying correctly what you have learned. It's about creating mind maps, using the multimedia and resources that you have. That is active studying. The last point I want to touch on is managing your environment. Earlier I gave the example where my best time of studying, everybody is asleep, everything is quiet, the TV is off, then I can begin my focus. In addition to that, what I also do is I make sure the dishes are washed, I make sure the door is locked, I make sure the curtains are closed, I make sure everything around me is also neat. It's clean on the desk that I'm going to work on. Then my brain switches, and all of this situation in my environment helps my brain to realize, okay, we're going to engage in learning now. So it switches on that switch that whatever I'm going to consume, I'm going to memorize. You want to remove distractions. You want to keep your space tidy and organized. You want to make sure that it's well lit, that the lights are working, that you can see everything that you want to read. Make sure that you are comfortable, that you're sitting in a comfortable chair, that you're using a comfortable table. What you have to do is to take this content, realize that it can be beneficial for you, and to use it to help you to get to being successful as a TVET student. Okay? So in summary, know your learning style, create a study schedule, study actively, and manage your environment. Those 4 key points, the sooner you can employ it, the better you're going to be when it comes to your own assessment, and may hopefully help you to raise your marks and improve your performance here at the college. Okay? My last thing that I want to say: embrace opportunity, lead the future. Always have the mindset that you want to be on the forefront of where you are going to one day. To lead, not to sit there and to wait. Okay? You have a great opportunity ahead of you. And my last quote that I picked up: success in your studies is not about studying more. It's really about studying smarter, with purpose and with a plan. Thank you very much. Now I want to open up to any questions that anybody has, that they might feel they didn't understand, that they want to know maybe more